indexes in Oracle. We are going to see now indexes in Oracle. Okay, so what is the use of index? So what type of indexes we have, we are going to see here. Okay, see, you can create index on a table. So you can create an index for a table to improve the performance of query issued. Okay, so AT&T. So if you see, we have like a select star from employee table. Okay, so we have this employee information. Okay, so in this employee information, so we are going to fetch some data. Okay, see, to retrieve this data from the table, how much time it is taking. So how much time it is taking, how much memory it is utilizing. That if you want to know this, you need to use plan for that. So this is the explain plan. So if you are running any query, so if you run this query, how much memory is read to read the data? So how much memory is need for you to read the data? So that we are going to see in this. Okay, see here. If you want to execute this query, how much memory is required? How much? So size is required. So cost CPU utilization. So that you are going to get here. So మీరు రన్ చేసినప్పుడు ఈ కాస్ట్ అనేది సిపియులో నుంచి ఎంత కాస్ట్ యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. సో మీ దగ్గర ఉన్న మనీలో నుంచి మీరు ఎంత స్పెండ్ చేస్తున్నారు అంటే if you see the RAM is having like 100 GB, so how much you are going to utilize here. So this is the cost of the query. Okay, so this is like a cardinality. Cardinality in the sense how many records we are retrieving in this query. So how many records you are retrieving from this query? 107 rows. So out in this table, so you are going to fetch like a 107 records. To fetch the 107 records, you are getting the, so you are utilizing the cost of the CPU is 2 bytes. Okay, so now I am trying to retrieve the data with only one of the employee, where okay, where first name equals to Stephen. The indexes is the main key role. So for the to avoid the performance issues, we need to maintain the indexes for that. See now the cardinality has cardinality has been changed. So 2 bytes ఉంది కదా. సో దాంతో పాటు ఏం జరుగుతుంది అంటే సో కాస్ట్ అనేది 1 తీసుకుంటుంది. ఓకే, సో ఎందుకు తీసుకుంటుంది ఒకసారి చూద్దాం. సో open this table. We created any indexes for this? We don't have any idea, right? See detail indexes. See, I created the indexes here. So already this column is having index for first name and last name as a composite index. Okay, so I'm going to take the script for this and we are going to delete the indexes and we'll see the performance. సో నేను నిన్న మీకు స్క్రిప్ట్ రన్ చేశాను కదా. సో స్క్రిప్ట్లో నాకు ఆల్రెడీ ఇండెక్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి అనమాట. సో నేను ఇండెక్సెస్ అన్ని ఆల్రెడీ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాను. దాని గురించి మీకు clear. Okay, now we'll see. Wait. See how the table is created. What are the columns we have? How, if you want to fetch the DDL statement of any table or any view. Okay, so ఒక table యొక్క DDL statement తీసుకోవాలి అంటే, so you need to use dbms underscore metadata dot get underscore DDL is the function. Okay, so now you are looking for the table. Mention the table. Which table you are looking for? Employees. Mention that. Dual. See how you created the table that you are getting like this. So how to get the DDL statement from the table from the Oracle. Okay. So ఏదైనా ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేశారో ఏంటి మనకి తెలియాలనుకున్నప్పుడు so we'll use this. Okay. So this is what you mentioned. So these are all the default things. See, if you are creating the table, the segment is automatically created. The segment creation immediate. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది segment creation immediately happen. So segment creation అనేది immediate గా నడుస్తుంది. Okay, so అట్లనే default parameters ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ default parameters అన్ని ఆటోమేటిక్ గా తీసుకుంటుంది. You haven't created this all things. See, you haven't mentioned the table space name as well. So by default, for this user, system is the default table space. It automatically take that. Okay, so now see in this index case, what happened, man? This DDL statement not at all opening. See, now we are getting this connection tab here, right? Okay, go to this and go to the required table information. So you are looking for employees table, right? So click this, and it automatically get the things here. If you visit to the we'll get the DDL statement here at least. Okay, let's create with another table then. Actually, at least create table. The underscore BKP as an employee. Okay, so now I'm creating the table with the same data. So now this table is not having any. Now this table does not have any indexes. Okay, so now we'll work with the same thing. Okay, so open declaration. So you can go to the indexes. So actually my system got damaged. See, ఇక్కడ EMP underscore BKP table ki ఏమి ఎటువంటి indexes అనేటివి లేవు ఇక్కడ. Okay, now see the differences. Now, if you want to select this data, so now to fetch 107 records, you are utilizing like a 2 bytes of memory. Okay. Now I'm trying to fetch like only one of the employee information. See the results like where employee ID equals to 1. Right? You are getting the data and verify. So previously it fetched 107 records ni fetch cheyadaniki. So it is taking 2 bytes. Now to fetch 10 out of 107 records, I am fetching only one record here. See here, to fetch only one record, cardinality is to fetch only one record, but the system is taking 2 bytes. Okay, the system is taking 2 bytes. సో ఎందుకు చేస్తుంది అసలు ఆ ఇండెక్స్ అంటే ఏంటి అంటే నా ఏం జరుగుతుంది ఇప్పుడు సో యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు ఫెచ్ లైక్ అ హోల్ టేబుల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ సో ట్రీట్ లైక్ యాజ్ యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సో ఇండియా ఇస్ యువర్ టేబుల్ ఓకే సో యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు ఫైండ్ అవుట్ లైక్ మీరు ఇండియాలో ఉన్న పాపులేషన్ మొత్తం కౌంట్ చేయమన్నారు ఓకే సో యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సర్చ్ ది ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ మెంబర్ అండ్ taking the population information and note it down in that. ఓకే సో పాపులేషన్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తీసుకునేటప్పుడు సో ఎంత టైం తీసుకుంటుంది సో సో ట్రీట్ లైక్ యాజ్ ఏపీలో మీరు పాపులేషన్ తీసుకుంటున్నాం సో 15 days పడుతున్నారు ఓకే 15 days పడుతుంది ఎఫర్ట్స్ ఏంటి సో ఒక 1 crore వరకు ఎఫర్ట్స్ అనేది వేస్ట్ అవుతుంది ఓకే మనీ కావచ్చు ఏదైనా కావచ్చు ఓకే మీరు స్పెండ్ చేయాల్సింది 1 crore వరకు మీకు ఇది పడుతుంది ఓకే సో ఈఎంపీ టేబుల్లో నుంచి సో యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు ఫెచ్ లైక్ ఓన్లీ వన్ రికార్డ్ సో కానీ మీకు 107 రికార్డ్ ఫెచ్ చేయడానికి ఒకటే టైం పడుతుంది ఒకటే కాస్ట్ పడుతుంది సో టు ఫెచ్ ఓన్లీ వన్ రికార్డ్ ఆల్సో ఇట్ ఈస్ టేకింగ్ ద సేమ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ టైం సో దిస్ ఇయర్ టు ఫెచ్ ఓన్లీ వన్ రికార్డ్ ఆల్సో ఇట్ ఈస్ యూటిలైజింగ్ 2 కాస్ట్ వచ్చి 2 bytes తీసుకుంటుంది ఓకే ఇక్కడ సర్చింగ్ ఆపరేషన్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది సో యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు రిట్రీవ్ ద డేటా ఫ్రమ్ ది టేబుల్ సో ఏంటి బేస్ చేసుకొని సో మీరు సర్చ్ ఆపరేషన్ జరుగుతుంది టేబుల్లో నుంచి యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు రిట్రీవ్ ద డేటా సో మీరు హోల్ రికార్డ్ చేస్తున్నారా వన్ రికార్డ్ చేస్తున్నారా అనేది తీస్తే సో మీరు టేబుల్లో నుంచి డేటాని సర్చ్ చేసి డేటాని రిట్రీవ్ చేస్తారు సో సేమ్ ఇప్పుడు ఎవరైనా ఒక మీ మెంబర్ యొక్క అడ్రస్ సర్చ్ చేయాలని సో ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ లైక్ ఎ విలేజ్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ లైక్ 100 records 100 members ఓకే సో మీరు సెర్చ్ చేసిన మెంబర్ మీ దగ్గర ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా లేదు ఓకే సో యు ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ లైక్ ఏబిసి ఇస్ మై సర్చింగ్ నేమ్ అంటే మీరు ఏబిసి అనే వాడి గురించి సెర్చ్ చేస్తున్నారు వాడి యొక్క ఫాదర్ ఇది ఓకే ఇలా సెర్చ్ చేస్తున్నారు ఓకే సో మీరు విలేజ్ లో 100 members ఉంటే 100 members ని మీరు విజిట్ చేసి చెక్ చేయాలి సో ఇఫ్ యూ గెట్ దట్ మెంబర్ ఆల్సో సో ఏబిసి మెంబర్ మీకు ఫైండ్ అయినా కూడా సో దేర్ ఈజ్ ఎ ఛాన్స్ టు మేబీ ఏ డిఫరెంట్ మెంబర్ యాజ్ వెల్ సో సేమ్ ఏబిసి తోటి డిఫరెంట్ మెంబర్ ఉండే అవకాశం ఉంది సో నువ్వేం చేయాలి యూ నీడ్ టు సర్చ్ ఫ్రమ్ 1 to 100 members యూ నీడ్ టు సర్చ్ 1 by 1 మెంబర్ వెరీ క్లియర్లీ సో అంటే ఒక్కొక్క మెంబర్ని మీరు సర్చ్ చేసుకుంటూ 100 members ని వెరిఫై చేయాలి ఎందుకు అంటే సో ఏబిసి అనేది మీరు సర్చ్ చేసిన మెంబర్ వీడి అని మీకు కన్ఫర్మ్ గా తెలియదు ఓకే సో తెలిసినప్పుడు ఏంటి అంటే సో యూ కెన్ ఏబుల్ టు ఫైండ్ దట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ సో మీరు ఏబిసి అనేవాడిని ఫైండ్ చేస్తున్నారు అంటే సో నౌ సి దిస్ ఎంప్లాయీ టేబుల్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ ద డేటా రైట్ నౌ ఇఫ్ ఐ సార్ట్ ద డేటా సో మీరు యు ఆర్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ ది 100th ఎంప్లాయీ ఓకే సో ఇఫ్ యూ క్రియేట్ సమ్ ఐడి ఫర్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ రికార్డ్ ఓకే ఇఫ్ యూ క్రియేట్ ది ఐడి ఫర్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ రికార్డ్ ది క్రియేట్ index okay create index ind underscore emp so you need to provide the valid name emp id so just I am creating like a index for employee id on so emp underscore bkp so what is the exact column name employee underscore id now the index has been created for this can you check now how much like how much cost it is taking I'm pinning this output I'm seeing the things for this See here, the cache has been changed for 1 byte. So earlier it is going with the full scan. See, the search operation is performing entire table. The search operation is performing for entire table. Okay, so in this case, after creating the index, the search operation is going to change as a range scan by index row ID, by index row ID. So ante em jarugutundi ante, so now you are creating some address ID for each and every member like Aadhaar number. So Aadhaar number annatledu like a family ration card. So ration card అని ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నానంటే, so entire family is having only one ration card. Okay, so Aadhaar number is the Inic ID for each and every member. Okay, so now you are creating some ration ID kind of thing. You are creating some address ID for each and every member. Okay, each and every member. Now you are looking for the what the value you are trying to get, so that you are looking for this. So it is going for range scan by index row ID. ఓకే, సో ఈ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్లు అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది అంటే, ఇఫ్ యూ క్రియేట్ ద ఇండెక్స్ ఐడి. ఓకే, సో ఇండెక్స్ ఐడి అనేది ఏం చేస్తుంది అంటే, ఇట్ టేక్ సమ్ స్పేస్ అండ్ క్రియేట్ సమ్ ఐడి ఫర్ దట్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ సీ, సెలెక్ట్ row number or row ID from emp_bkp. Now see, this is the row ID. So this is the row ID. It's a permanent Aadhaar number for the record. The permanent Aadhaar number for the record. The kind of, not the Aadhaar number. It's a index ID is the physical address of the record where the record are stored in the database. అంటే ఈ ఐడి అనేది ఏంటంటే, సో మీ సిస్టంలో మీ ఎక్కడైతే మెమొరీ యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటున్నారో ఆ మెమొరీ యూటిలైజేషన్ కి ఉన్న ఐడి అన్నమాట. ఓకే, సో నౌ ద సేమ్ వే, you are creating the row ID. So index ID for every record. If you mention like an index of, create index of name on employee of, so table name of column name. So now see, if you create the index ID, so ఏంటి ఇండెక్స్ అనేది కూడా ఒక స్పేస్ తీసుకుంటా, అంటే ఒక ఐడి జనరేట్ చేస్తున్నాం అంటే it is storing the value in some way. Okay, so now check if it is taking the space or not. So now select star from user underscore segment. User underscore segments. So where segment name equal to not the name we created, where segment name equals to see, we created the segment for that because it is creating some address IDs, index IDs for every record. So address IDs అనేటివి like a family ration card లెక్కన ఉంటుంది. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే, సో ద ఇండెక్స్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఇండెక్స్ వి క్రియేటెడ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫాల్ట్ ఇండెక్స్. సో మనం డిఫాల్ట్ గా మేజర్ గా ఇదే ఇండెక్స్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తుంటాం చాలా ప్లేస్ లో. ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే, సో ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ ద డేటా లైక్, if you have the data now 100 to, so how many records we have? 206. Now the Oracle will split this data into two parts. Okay, now the Oracle, if we have the set of values like okay, so treat like I say you have the set of values. Okay, we have the set of values in this like a 1 to 9. Okay, now you are creating the index for this. Okay, you are creating the index for this. So this is already in sort mode. So maybe if you are creating the index for the different values like going to delete this 1 3 5 7. Okay, so we have the set of values like this. This is the original data. Okay, now if you create the index ID for this, now if you create the index ID for this, the index ID values is going to change like this. So first Oracle will sort the data. First Oracle will sort the data. Okay, now the Oracle is going to sort the data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Then we have 5, 5. And we have 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now we miss any other thing we missed here something. 3 we missed another one is 3. Okay. So now see if you create the index for this. So the Oracle will sort the data and first it sort the data. Okay. Then split the data into two parts. Okay. Then it split the data into two parts. Okay. Then it split the data into two parts like this. As a tree format. So actually normal index, we can call it as a tree, format. Okay, now I'm inserting the values like this. 1, 2, 3, 3. So how many we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So out of 12, so you can split the data into two parts exact. Okay, so 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Then it will go for the second set. So then 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now this is the values of this. So it splitted the data into two parts. Okay, it creates some index ID for every value. Okay, so it sort the data and created the ID for this. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H అన్నట్టు ఒక ID generate చేస్తుంది. So that ID you cannot able to see, but index ID will create for this. Okay, so but you are looking for the fourth position. And so you are looking for select star from EMP where employee number equal to 4. Okay, 4 values జరిగినప్పుడు so ఇక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుంది, it's not in the correct order. This data is not in the correct order. So you are not able to find like you are looking for the fourth position. సో మీరు ఫోర్త్ పొజిషన్ చెక్ చేసుకుంటా వచ్చారు, ఫస్ట్ పొజిషన్ నుంచి టిల్ ఇక్కడ వరకు వస్తే 4 అనేది వచ్చింది మీకు. Okay, so 4 you found the 4 here. Again, you are not stopping like a search operation here because you don't know like what this value you are looking for exactly this. You don't have idea this. For that reason, you will go for you need to complete the remaining persons as well. So ఎందుకు మీరు లుక్ చేసే వాల్యూ వాడా కాదని ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా తెలియదు. You need to verify with all the members and then you can decide. Okay, so ఎందుకు జరుగుతుంది అంటే so it's like it's not in the correct order. There is no address ID for you. So what the value you are looking for. Okay, so but here in this situation, so we sorted the data and created the address ID for that. Okay, start చేసినప్పుడు ఏంటి A to Z మనం స్టార్ట్ చేసాం. A to Z స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు you are looking for 4. Okay, so wherever you are getting like a 4, okay, find that value. So wherever you are getting the 5th, అంటే 5 అని ఎక్కడైతే మీకు ఫైండ్ చేస్తారో the search operation will stop automatically. You don't need to go further. No other persons will have with 4 from that to next position. So now in this case, so you are going to perform the range operation. So you are not performing like a full scan operation. మీరు full search operation ని చేయట్లేదు, range operation జరుగుతుంది. So if you are looking for like a, if you create the, so if you see the book is having index space, the index space will help you to reach the destination as the faster. So మీరు 100 page లో constraint అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉంది. So if you see, if you want to go for the, so if you see that index page and you are looking for the 100 page, so అప్పుడు నువ్వేం చేస్తావు, so you can open randomly with some papers. So if you are looking for the 100 page in the sense, so you can guess like this many, after this many page there may be 100 page అని చెప్పి నువ్వు గెస్ చేస్తావు. గెస్ చేసినప్పుడు it may go for the exactly 100 page, it may go for the 90 పేజ్, ఇట్ మే గో ఫర్ 110 పేజ్ ఆల్సో. సో కరెక్ట్ గా వెళ్ళొచ్చు, పక్కన పేజ్ వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ముందుకు వెళ్ళొచ్చు, బ్యాక్ ఎక్కడైనా పోవచ్చు. కానీ సో యూ విల్ కంటిన్యూ ది సర్చ్ ఆపరేషన్ ఫ్రమ్ దట్ టు దట్ పొజిషన్. 98 పేజ్ మీరు రీచ్ అయ్యారండి, 98 నుంచి 100కి మీరు రేంజ్ ఆపరేషన్ అంటే ఆ ఆపరేషన్ అనేది చేస్తారు. సో కానీ అదే నువ్వు 110కి వెళ్తే 110 నుంచి 100కి నువ్వు రిటర్న్ వస్తుంది. సో యు ఆర్ పర్ఫార్మింగ్ ది రేంజ్ ఆపరేషన్ ఫర్ దట్. So that we can call it as a range scan. Okay, so now you are looking for this like a this value. So after sorting the data, it creating the index IDs. Oracle will, if you are looking for like a select star from employee, where employee ID equal to 4 or no. So now it search for this. It split the data into two parts because the normal index is a B tree index. So the name itself, it is having the tree format. So tree emotadi. So the one tree is going to split that into two leaves. Again, the two leaves will split each leaf into another two leaves like that. So the tree is going to split into two parts. Now we have this, right? Okay, now the data is splitted into two parts. Okay, so what the value you are looking for? Employee ID equal to 4. Okay, so employee ID equal to 4. So employee ID equal to 4. So ఇప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది? సో ఈ సెట్ ఆఫ్ వాల్యూ ఫస్ట్ సెట్ లో 4 అనేది ఉందా అని చెప్పి సెర్చ్ చేస్తుంది. If the value found, it keep this as a active set. Okay, so if the second set is going for the second set, if the value is found here, this is also becoming like as an active set. Then if you are not finding any value like a 4, then 3. Okay, so now there is no value like 4 in this place. So it ignore this set of record. It ignore this set of values. It ignore the set of values. Then continue the search operation in this. Continue the search operation in this. Then it split the data into two parts again. Split the data into two parts. So 1, 2, 3. It will come to this place. 3, 4, 4. Okay, again it search the things in this two sets again. If the value is not present, this it ignore this. If the value present here, it continue the search operation. This is the active set. Okay, then it will go for the again. Okay, then it will get this state. So you cannot say like so if you have like a odd numbers. So okay, 5 members ఉన్నప్పుడు you may get in the first list like 3. In the second list you will get the 2. Okay, so now the first set will get the data. Then it will go for the okay. So it ignore this first set and it will get the data into this. So this value you are going to get the results. That's random. The system may, there is a chance for that as well. 3, 4 and 4. There is a chance for that as well. Okay, so this is like a normal index. So what the index we discuss is the range scan operation is performing is a normal index, default index. So default index, actually we have two types of indexes. B tree index, bitmap index. B tree is this index. So if the column is having two distinct values, that we can say low cardinality column. If the column is having greater than two distinct values, that we can call it as a high cardinality column. Okay, the high cardinality columns will create the bitmap B tree index. Low cardinality columns will create the bitmap index. Okay, so ఏదైనా ఒక కాలం కి టూ డిస్టింక్ట్ వాల్యూస్ సో సెక్స్ కాలం ఉంది మేల్ ఫీమేల్. సో ఈ టూ వాల్యూస్ కాకుండా వేరే ఏ వాల్యూ ఉండదు. సో కంపల్సరీ నువ్వు యూ కెన్ గో విత్ బిట్మ్యాప్ ఇండెక్స్. సో లైక్ ట్రూ ఆర్ ఫాల్స్. సో ఇలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్స్ స్టేటస్ యాక్టివ్ ఇన్యాక్టివ్. సో ఎస్ఆర్ నో. సో ఇలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్స్ ఎక్కడైనా ఉన్నప్పుడు యూ విల్ గో ఫర్ ది బిట్మ్యాప్ ఇండెక్స్. సో ద జెండర్ వైస్ మీరు ఓన్లీ పాపులేషన్ టేబుల్ నుంచి మెయిల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తీయాలి, ఫిమేల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తీయాలి. సో అప్పుడు ఏంటి? సో ఇఫ్ యూ క్రియేట్ ద బిట్మ్యాప్ ఇండెక్స్, ఓకే, So how we are creating this index IDs? In the same way, it create the bitmap index ID for that. ఏంటంటే మెయిల్ సంబంధించిన ఇండెక్సెస్ ఇన్సర్ట్ రికార్డ్ డేట్స్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటన్నిటిని ఒక సార్ట్ చేసుకొని డేటాను స్టోర్ చేయాలి. ఫిమేల్ అందరినీ ఒక సార్ట్ చేసుకొని చేసి. సో ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు రిట్రీవ్ ద డేటా, సో ఫస్ట్ హాఫ్ని ఇచ్చేస్తే అయిపోయింది. సెకండ్ హాఫ్ అంటే సెకండ్ హాఫ్. అర్థమవుతుందా? సో the bitmap index work like that. So now see, we can create some index and we'll verify that. So now we haven't created any index for this. Now, so we created indexes for this. Now the cost is reduced for one. It is going for a range scan. It is going for range scan by index row ID. The operation is performing by index row ID. So it is going for range scan, not for the full scan. See, in the first phase, it is going for full scan. The option is going for full scan. To fetch, cardinality is how many? 107 records. Okay, 107 records. Cost is 2 bytes. So in the another case, without index, you are trying to pull the data. It is going for full to fetch one record. To fetch one record. Okay. So in this case, cost it is taking 2 bytes, but to fetch the same record with only one record, if you create the index after creating the index, it is going for the range operation, right? Now, instead of this, now I'm creating the Aadhaar number for this, and now I'm dropping this index and recreating it. Okay. So the Aadhaar number is a Inic ID for each and every member. So that's the reason I'm mentioning like a Inic Index. Inic Index. Now see, it create the Inic ID for each and every member. Now see that now I'm trying to fetch the data for the same employee. So you cannot see like I see. So wait, we'll drop and recreate and we'll pin that output. We created this and we pin this things. This is like a range scan operation for is a normal index. Now I'm making as a so Inic index for this Inic index. Now the Inic index has been created. Now see here, it is going for index row ID, but this operation is performing Inic scan. If the value get found, employee ID equal to 100, it won't search for the remaining records. So wherever I'm getting the value exactly, so I'm trying to display that and the search operation is going to close because so Aadhaar number అనేది so you won't see the duplicate values. Okay, so for that reason, so we'll use this Inic scan, right? Now we see, so we don't have option to create the bitmap index. So we don't have, it's like not the professional version. Okay, so now if you want to create the bitmap index, low cardinality column will create the bitmap index. Okay, now I'm trying to create the bitmap index. Okay. See, the feature is not enabled bitmap index. So it's a standard version, right? So you cannot able to use this. Okay, so wherever you are getting like a gender situation, so we'll use the bitmap index. So simple, you need to use the bitmap keyword. If you want to create the Inic index, we'll mention the Inic index type is Inic. Okay, if you haven't mentioned anything, the system will treat like as a B tree index. You no need to mention like a B tree. You no need to mention like a B tree. Okay, so there is no like a syntax for that like B tree. It's the default. See. So if you want to, okay, now we are seeing this data, right? Now we see another index. Sometimes Now you are trying to retrieve the data with the required condition here, right? Now see this data. The client is asking to fetch the employee information. So first name lo everikaithe first name or last name. So whose name is starting with S? So now I need to retrieve the data. So wherever I'm using the condition, so I'm not using like a first name. First underscore name like S. I need to, the initial letter is caps, right? See, these are all the values we have. Okay, so now I don't have any index for this. I don't have any index for this. Check this. It is going for to fetch like 13 records. It is taking like a cost is 2 bytes. Okay, cost is 2 bytes, right? Now I'm pinning this like this. The earlier ones I'm closing. Okay, earlier ones I'm closing. Now I'm creating the index for this first name. How we created the, so it's a like a low card, it's not the low cardinality column, it's a high cardinality. Name అనేది, so S, A, B అని ఇలా ఉండవు కదా. So we will get more hundreds of or crores of name as well. You cannot say, you cannot judge like a, it's a, like a two different values. Okay, now I'm creating with that. I'm creating the employee name. Okay, creating index. Now the index has been created, right? Now perform this operation. From this operation. See, it is going for range scan. It is going for range scan, but the cost is 1, right? Now I'm going to make this as a, so what are the first name I'm going to get, right? So I'm going to use, so now you are the scanning will happen with range operation, right? Now instead of like operator, my client is asking to fetch like a where first character equal to 1. So first character equal to S and a letter toti unnayo I retrieve cheyamannadu. So I don't want to like fetch this all the information. So star ani use cheyakunda. So ikkada enti, it's a sub str function. Like operator is a pattern operator. So pattern operator use cheyakunda, I need to, the client is asking to get the data with equal operator. With equal operator. Now I cannot able to get the with equal here. With equal, I cannot able to get here because in this situation, I can create the, so I can create like a, so I can mention like a sub str of first name comma 1 comma 1. Now I will get the first letter from this. Okay, sub str function in chestadi, it is used to print the part of the string. Okay, so it fetches the first character from first position to first character. Now see, you are getting the data, right? 13 character, 13 records you are getting here, right? Now see this. Okay, now I'm creating the normal index only. Okay, normal index, the table is already having this normal index. See, normal index only, మనం create చేసింది ఏంటి normal index. Now perform this F10. See, what are the index it is created. So this first name is already having the index, but index, the search operation is not at all performing here. So sorry, the range operation is not at all performing here. ఎందుకు అంటే, సో మీ మీరు ఇండివిజువల్ గా ఉన్న ఫంక్షనాలిటీని కోల్పోయారు ఇక్కడ. సో ఏంటి అంటే, సో మీకు రికగ్నైజేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఆ రికగ్నైజేషన్ సో హ్యాస్ బీన్ హైడ్ విత్ సబ్ str ఫంక్షన్. ఓకే, సెర్చ్ చేసేటప్పుడు మీరు ఇండివిజువల్ గా వెళ్ళినప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ ద రికగ్నైజేషన్. సో ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ ఇన్ ది గ్రూప్ దెర్ ఈస్ నో రికగ్నైజేషన్ ఫర్ యూ. ఇన్ ద సేమ్ వే, సో మీరు యు ఆర్ నాట్ యూసింగ్ దిస్ ఇండెక్స్డ్ కాలమ్ యాజ్ ఎ డైరెక్ట్లీ. సో యు ఆర్, సో డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ ది సమ్ అదర్ ఫంక్షన్. You are appending something for you. So you are not like a so if you see like a college lo student anko, so your parents has the faculties. So mere individual ga vachinappudu those people will treat like as your child. Okay, but if you went with other students, so those people won't give the priority for you, right? The same way here it is not at all happening any. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది the individual column యూజ్ చేయకుండా so you are adding something for that column. So that's the reason that the value what are the value ఏదైతే ఉందో ఆ వాల్యూని ఇది కోల్పోతుంది. So that's the reason. So now I'm creating the function based index. మీరు ఎవరితో క్లబ్ చేసి వస్తున్నారో ఆ ఇద్దరికి కలిపి యాజ్ ఏ ఐడి క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాను నేను. Now, so you are depending on some other function here. Okay, so what's the function you are using to grow you or to mention that in the column list? So that I'm going to make it as instead of column name directly, I'm mentioning like a substr of first name comma 1 comma 1. Okay, now I'm dropping this and I'm recreating this index. Now verify here. Now verify here. Now it is going for the range scan. Now it is going for range scan. It is taking the cost is a 1. Okay, so if it is the Inic name, so I can go with the. So you cannot able to go with Inic name because the Inic constraint won't be allowed the duplicate values. Okay, so if you see now the things here, if you see the in user underscore constraints, I said like there is an option like a index. Let's start from user underscore constraints. In user underscore constraints. Okay, so wherever you are seeing the U as a constraint type, sorry, P or U, any constraint or primary key, anything. If you see here, the index is enabled for this. Index owner, user 12, index name. So wherever you are seeing the unique constraint or primary key constraint, see UK, unique key constraint, check for this. The constraint type is U. So if you create the unique constraint, at the backend, Oracle will create automatically index ID, unique index ID for every record. Okay, so unique address ID for every record, it automatically creates. Okay, if you create the unique constraint or if you create the primary key constraint, automatically will create the unique constraint. Okay, if you want to create unique index manually or so by request, so me calls and you can able to create other than the index, other than the constraint. Constraint to part of you can able to create manually from your end as well directly. Okay, so now we see these indexes like so what are the index we have? Okay, so if you want to, so the indexes will help you to improve the performance. We'll accept the words now. So indexes ఏం జరుగుతుంది డేటాను రిట్రీవ్ చేసేటప్పుడు. So if you are using any where class, so the column is if you the column where class column does not have index, it is going for the full scan. So if it is going for the full scan for every record to fetch like 100 records, if you want to search like 100 operations on the daily basis, so you are always utilizing the more memory, so the performance will decrease. So in case if you create the index for the required columns or joined columns, మీరు నిన్న జాయిన్స్ యూజ్ చేశారు, జాయిన్స్ యూజ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది, you are comparing. So comparing జరిగేటప్పుడు కూడా, so if you create the index for that joined columns, that will improve the performance. Okay, accept, right? Now the indexes will help you to improve the performance of select query or data retrieval process. Okay, now we have two types of indexes. You need to mention only two types, B tree and bitmap. So the B tree, okay, so difference between the B tree. Okay, so else we will see the index question like this. is index. What is index? What type of indexes we have? So this is your interview question. So you may get the interview question like this. What is index? Indexes will help you to. Indexes is used to improve the performance. Improve the is one point. So how the book is having the index, the same way the index page will help you to reach our destination or target page as a easier. The same way, the index ID will help you to retrieve the data faster. Okay, retrieve the data faster. Okay, so we have what type of indexes? We have B-tree, bitmap. B-tree index is the default index. B-tree is the default index. So the index will work like this. So high cardinality columns. So wait, high cardinality columns. We create. We create the B-tree. B-tree index. So low cardinality columns will create the bitmap index. Low cardinality columns will create the bitmap index. Okay. So now the B-tree index will work like as a tree format. Okay, as a tree format, if you have the set of values of 1 to 10, if you are looking for the 5th position or 7th position, okay, the list can be separated into 2 parts. Okay, then it will it search for the first set of values, what the value you are looking for. If the value is found in the first set, it will continue the search operation. If it is not found, then ignore that set. It will go for the second set. Okay, so it will ignore for the second set. Okay, if the value is not present in the second set as well, the search operation is going to stop. If the value is found in the second set, it split that data into 2 parts. Okay, until then you get your actual value for you. Until then, so every leaf can be separated into 2 leaves and find the required value for you. Find the required value for you. This is like a B-tree index. Okay, so B-tree index, the low cardinality columns will create the bitmap index. Okay, so the cardinality, what is cardinality here? Okay, what is cardinality? Cardinality. So cardinality meaning how many distinct values in that particular column or particular query. So మీరు run చేస్తున్న queryలో distinct records ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి? That you are going to make it as a cardinality. So if it is having high in the sense more than 2 distinct values, if we are using anything in the where class, the where class column is having how many distinct values that you need to form. So that can decide like it's a high cardinality or low cardinality. So the distinct values, the values of column. Okay. High cardinality meanings if distinct values is greater than the distinct values of column. If distinct value column is greater than 2, then we will say B. So high cardinality column. High cardinality column. If it is having the only two distinct values, only distinct values, only two distinct values. We will say low cardinality. Okay, so you may see this interview questions. Okay, now we see sometimes. So we need to use the compound. So composite index. So how we created the composite primary key. So employee table ni basis koni. There is no employee ID for you. So మీరు iniqueness ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. iniqueness ని నేమ్ తోటి పోతే మనం iniqueness ని క్రియేట్ చేయలేకపోవచ్చు. నేమ్ విత్ డేట్ ఆఫ్ బర్త్. So there is a less possibility of this two persons having the same name with the same date of birth. Very less. So at least you can able to restrict the values like so now see now I'm dropping this index and recreating with the composite index. Now the composite index is happening like this. Now I'm dropping this index. Okay, I'm not using any function as well. I'm not using the function as well, but I'm using the first name and last name together. I need to use last name. Now I created the index. Okay, now I created the index. Now I am trying to fetch the data like so ఏంటి two columns ki club chesi index ID generate chesi. While retrieving the data, I am trying to fetch the data for with only one column. First name toti nenu search చేస్తున్నాను s percentile in the data. Now see here, it is going for a range scan. Okay, so range scan. No, let me see here. We create this. It need to go for the skip scan actually. Okay, actually it won't use this index. So మీరు composite index అని యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు the composite గాని మీరు యూజ్ చేయాలి. So as a group మీరు చెప్పారు group గానే రావాలి. So if you go with individual member, so if you create like a joint account, so the joint account holder independently cannot able to use that account. So if you want to use the joint account holder information, so what are the joint holders we have in that particular account? Those all the members need to be present in the bank. Then only you can able to operate. The same way here. If you see, the index won't be used actually. So if you want to use those type of indexes, so you need to use like a first name, comma, last name. Last name in. So take the data from employee table and keep these results. Make it as a subquery. From employees. Now see, you will get the data like this. Now you will get the data like this. Okay, you are getting the data like this, and you are searching for these two values together. So Ellen Abel. Okay, Ellen Abel. Okay, so now you are getting this data. Now see, the search operation is performing and see this in the cardinality. So fetch like a 107 records. It is going for the range scan, not going for the full scan. So semi, the table access is semi, not going for the full scan. So now it is going like this. It is going like this. So the thing is here you are utilizing two tables. That's the reason one table is going for the full scan, one table is going for the range scan. Okay. So now So composite index will help you if you are creating any index with more than one column, that we can call it as a composite index. Okay, so we have function based index. If you are creating any index based on any function in the Oracle, that we can call it as a function based index. Okay, then we have other index, Inic index. The Inic index automatically create the Inic constraint most of the times. We won't create. So if you want to create Inic index, so we'll use the manually as a Inic keyword for that. Okay, this is about the indexes. This is used to improve the performance of that. Okay, so now see the things in the, so simply, so if you want to see this query execution time, so what the thing we are mentioning here, so what are the things you are running here. So if you want to see this, how much time is required to, so if you run this query, how much time it is going to utilize. So అంటే మీరు ఎంత మెమొరీని యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటారు అని చెప్పి ముందే గెస్ చేసి చెప్తుంది. దట్ లైక్ యాస్ ఏ query estimation plan, query execution estimation plan. Simply select that query, press F10, press F10, else use like this. Explain, and let's copy this. So మీరు if you don't have the SQL utility tool, if you don't have the SQL utility tool, and to the Google, search for the how to see the explain plan of the query. To see the explain plan in Oracle, not in the SQL developer. How we are using this is the SQL developer. Simply if you press the F10, you will get that. Okay, so plan for, okay, so plan for that you need to mention. Explain plan. Okay, that we can call it as it is. See, the plan has been explained. Okay, so explain చేసుకుంది. So how much cost I'm going to utilize, how many records I'm going to retrieve, that information has been captured and explained to the system. Okay, the estimation has been done. Now if you want to see that information, we'll use the dbms underscore x plan is the table. Okay, they'll use this either of these two queries, either of these two queries. So we'll go with this simply dbms underscore x plan as a typical. Run this query, you will get the explain plan information. See, if you are running any query, the plan hash value is generated. If you are running any query, so me run chesina prati query ki Oracle will generate hash values, hash value. So if you are running the same repeated, same type of query again and again, the hash value won't be changed. Hash value won't be changed. Okay, ఎందుకు చేంజ్ చేయదు అంటే if the query, so if you are retrieving select last name from employee, so the same query మీరు run చేసినప్పుడు, so the query no need to verify that the table is having the last name column or not. Okay, it need to be perform the direct operation. So hash value same ఉన్న ఇప్పుడు ఒక work, if you are starting as a work as a newly, it may take some time. So if you are familiar with that, so you will continue, you will complete that process very faster. Correct? జరుగుతుందా? సో ఇలా జరిగే దాని గురించి. సో వరాకిల్లో కూడా మీరు ఒక్కటే క్వరీని మల్టిపుల్ టైమ్స్ రన్ చేస్తా ఉన్నప్పుడు ద ఫస్ట్ టైమ్ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ ది టైమ్ టు కంప్లీట్ దట్. ద సెకండ్ టైమ్ ఆన్వర్డ్స్ ఇట్ గెట్ లెస్ టైమ్ కంపేర్ టు ది ఫస్ట్ టైమ్ because of this hash value. Because of this hash value, Oracle will do the parsing. So the same type of repeated queries have you run earlier or not? It verify that. If you are already run that, it won't perform the parsing related things. Okay, parsing related. I'm going to explain then the performance things. I'm creating that. So at least you need to know these things. So explain plan for of the any query. So if you write any query with multiple joins, anything, it explain the plan and generate the hash value for this. The hash values, then you can see these things. So the table name, okay, the table name. So it is the select query is taking the index full scan, index full scan, index full scan, not going for the full scan direct. It is equivalent to the range scan. Okay. So 107 records you are trying to fetch. So you are utilizing like 1% of CPU. Okay. The cost of CPU here is how much time you are taking, 0.0 milliseconds. Okay. So this is about the indexes. So we'll continue by Monday. Okay. With I haven't completed that materialized view concept. Okay, so I can able to give the theoretical and as well as the few example for the manual. So we don't have the professional edition, right? So we cannot able to create the material views to with advanced things. చెప్పండి. Okay, okay. If you are running any PLSQL code, you may get some issues. Okay, you may get some issues. The issues need to be tracked. సో మీరు ఒక అప్లికేషన్లో రన్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఈ అప్లికేషన్ రన్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు if you are using like net banking, okay, sometimes the page cannot be displayed. Okay, the session has expired. You will get these type of issues, right? So if you are in the banker side, so I'm the customer, I'm going to complain to you to the customer care officers. Okay, now, so those people will ask like, what the issue for you? What issue you get, sir? Okay, you will say simply like the page cannot be displayed. At what time you perform? So if simply those people will raise some ticket for that. So a ticket ni right cheyadaniki A to use chase. That's the one he is expecting. So the ticketing tools will be ServiceNow or Jira. Most of the organizations will use the Jira. Jira is the ticketing tool which is used to track the issues. సో మీరు ఏ ఇష్యూస్ మీకు వచ్చాయి, ఈరోజు ఏమేమి ఇష్యూస్ మీద వర్క్ చేశారు? ఓకే, సో ఏదైనా ఎన్హాన్స్మెంట్స్ ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయి అప్లికేషన్కి? ఎన్హాన్స్మెంట్స్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఉన్న ఫంక్షనాలిటీకి కొత్తగా అడిషనల్గా ఏదైనా ఫంక్షనాలిటీ యాడ్ చేసినప్పుడు అప్లికేషన్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ అంటే ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ ఎన్హాన్స్మెంట్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఆ ఎన్హాన్స్మెంట్ కోసం అంటే మీరు ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ కోడ్ని చేంజ్ చేయొచ్చు లేదా న్యూ కోడ్ రావడం రావచ్చు. అంటే you are doing some changes on the application. So that's the reason we'll mention like a change request. Enhancements కి change request ఇస్తాం. ఓకే, సో అప్లికేషన్ లో ఏదైనా ఒక బగ్ ఉందనుకో, మీరు 1000 రూపీస్ విత్డ్రాల్ చేస్తే 1 lakh మనీ బయట వస్తుంది అనుకో, ద ఆపరేషన్ ఈస్ పర్ఫార్మింగ్. సో ద ఆపరేషన్ ఈస్ గెటింగ్ it's not the user defined errors. It's a we have like two types of errors. Oracle is having two types of errors, predefined and user defined. The user defined will create the exceptions based on our things. ఇప్పుడు లో బ్యాలెన్స్ ని చెక్ చేయాలి. లో బ్యాలెన్స్ అనేది హెచ్డిఎఫ్సిలో 10,000 ఉంటుంది మినిమం బ్యాలెన్స్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ద సాలరీ అకౌంట్. ఓకే, సో ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద సేవింగ్ అకౌంట్ ఆర్ సాలరీ అకౌంట్ అయితే అప్ టు 0 రూపీస్ వరకు మీరు విత్డ్రాల్ చేయొచ్చు. Okay, if it is a like normal account, you cannot able to withdraw less than 10,000 rupees. So if you are trying to withdraw less than that, so that exception need to be raised for you. That you can decide. So you will define your user defined exception and you can mention that. So that is not expecting that person actually. So, మీకు ఇంటర్వ్యూలో అడిగిన పర్సన్ ఏంటంటే బగ్స్ ఎలా ట్రాక్ చేస్తారు, యూజర్ ఇష్యూస్ ఎలా ట్రాక్ చేస్తారు అనేది ఆయన అడిగారు. టోటలీ దట్ అబౌట్ ది జీరా టూల్. ఓకే, సో అబౌట్ ది జీరా I have video in our video list. Toad and Putty is different. So Putty is the tool which is used to connect from Windows to the Inic server. Okay, another tool is like a WinSCP. WinSCP is how we are connecting to the Oracle using SQL developer. SQL developer is the third party utility tool to simplify, to improve the productivity. So manaki, so here these people are giving a lot of options. So if you click the views, if you click the package, you are getting this all the information simply. So if you don't have this option to get the DDL statements, right? I need to use like a DBMS underscore metadata package UHC. I need to use the functions to get the DDL statements, to get the insert statement. So now you are getting simple insert statement as well here. Right click is the export. You can frame the insert statement directly. You can frame the Excel.csv file. These options is been provided by the to simplify our work. మన వర్క్ ని సింప్లిఫై చేస్తూ మన ప్రొడక్టివిటీని పెంచుకుంటున్నారు ఇక్కడ. అలానే WinSAP is the tool which is used to help you to perform like a drag and drop options. అంటే విండోస్ నుంచి ఇనిక్స్ కి, ఇనిక్స్ నుంచి విండోస్ కి మీరు సింపుల్ గా వర్క్ చేసేదానికి. హౌ వీఆర్ ఫెమిలియర్ విత్ విండోస్, అలానే విండోస్ లాగా ఇనిక్స్ లో వర్క్ చేయడానికి కోసం WinSAP టూల్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఓకే, సో ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు స్టాప్ హియర్, ఎనీ